Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So in today's video guys, it's going to be very interesting, very exclusive. This time we have reached the ultimate levels. Okay, so in today's video we're going to be having an exclusive interview with the one, the only Crimson Education. So basically what's going to be happening in today's video, I'm going to be having an exclusive interview with Crimson Education, and we're going to be just discussing how you can hire or how they can hire your chances into getting into the university of your dreams overseas. I have the plug for you guys today. So this video is going to be separated into 3 parts. It's going to be separated into the academics part, the extracurricular part, and the essays. And we're going to be discussing the application process in general. So buckle up, because it's going to be such an interesting video. Don't forget to take out that notebook and make notes, because guys, Crimson Education and I got your back.
Anyways, we're sitting here with Orefilwe Makoto, vlogger, lifestyle vlogger, and of course, based out in
Centurion in Gauteng.
Lovely Centurion, Gauteng. What an absolute pleasure. Orefilwe, I've been looking so forward to this session because, well, as I understand it, you have a dream of applying to Yale or to a top school in the United States. But my first question is this. Why apply abroad? What do you feel you can get there that at this stage you can't get here?
First of all, I'd like to start off with, besides the education, the food that side, because I've been there, right? The food that side is just, the fast food is just delicious. And I am a sucker for fast food. I liked it. But besides that, let's go back to the education part. I feel as though I could attain more knowledge, and because people that go to those universities are more diverse, there are more cultures there, people from different countries. I know that happens in my country, but it's not so broad. So I feel like I could learn more that side, new surroundings, live in a new place and just discover new things, discover new foods, discover new places, and just explore and get out of my comfort zone, which is my country, of course, South Africa.
I'm with you. Now, in South Africa, you're quite successful. You're quite a prolific vlogger. You have many followers on social media. Tell me a little bit about that component of your life. Let's forget about education for a moment. In essence, whether or not you get into Yale will come down to your extracurricular profile. Yes, they will expect you to have brilliant marks, and we'll speak about that, and potentially a strong SAT to match and fantastic essays. And in essence, Orefilwe Makoto, the brand, will really come through in the essays themselves. But let's speak about you, the vlogger. Where did it start? What's your story? And where does it fit into this Yale story?
So how this all started, right? In grade 8, I was one of those nerd kids. Nobody wanted to be around me. I had no social media. I thought if I took my phone and decided to just make a few videos, people will get to know me, and maybe at school I'd become more popular, So then I posted my first video and it got 0 views. It was very demotivating at that time. And I kept going for a whole year, no engagement. It was just my mom and my family viewing my videos, which was kind of like cringe, but we got past that. And then the day before I quit making videos, I posted one last video before going to bed, and then I remember waking up and it was at like 1 million views. And I was like, what's going on? What is going on? Then I started posting more and more, and then it just became to 2 million views, and it went to 3 million views. That was the peak in the beginning. Then that's where it started off, and it was just like blowing up every single time I posted a video, and I started getting a hang of it. Yes.
That's insane. I can only imagine what it must be like waking up to 1 million views of your face. That's brilliant. Now, a little bit about me, Orefilwe. I meet with some of the strongest students in Africa, from Johannesburg to Lagos, from Nairobi to Dar es Salaam, from Addis Ababa to Harare. The students I meet with have a goal of studying abroad. They look to open up opportunity abroad. And geography is so important in this space in terms of proximity to industry. For example, if you want to do computer science, you might want to end up in Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley may very well look to schools within the sort of geographical space. Or if you want to end up in finance, you want to work in New York and end up in Wall Street. There's geography is so important. Tell me a little bit about why. Well, you've told me why you want to go overseas, but what's the goal here? What do you want to study there? What's the educational goal?
I want to go that side. I want to see the technology aspect of it. I want to learn more, but I'm not quite sure on what I want to do exactly in the technology space. Maybe I want to also go to MIT, and if that doesn't work out, I can go to Yale or a university that side that is more drama related if the technology aspect doesn't work out technically. So that's basically where I'm at with the education side of it so far.
I'm with you. So just so I understand, you have an interest in technology, or the sort of, what I can understand is the sort of CS or computer science space, but you also have an interest in the drama space. That's quite an interesting intersection. The United States is brilliant in that it allows you to kind of be undecided, and you might only end up majoring at the end of your first year, and you could very well dual major. Who knows, maybe you'll do a dual major in the history of hip hop and computer science. Let's take a look at the application process we speak about today. The US application weighting is, well, it's weighted like this. 40% will be driven by your academics, and within that, the SAT score as well. Now, the SAT score is absolutely fundamental. It's an important score to breed familiarity. Now, many schools in the United States are SAT optional, and some students are going in without writing the SAT, but from a Crimson point of view, the general sort of narrative is to say, if you have the opportunity to write the SAT, you should. And the reason why is quite simple, Orefile, is that if there is another student in Cape Town, for example, who goes to a Curo there, okay, and they have a very, very similar profile to you in all respects, and they have an SAT and you do not, it's very easy to kind of like distinguish between the two of you. I want you to understand an admissions officer in the United States is a human being, because that's what they are. They're on the way to work, and maybe they're kind of sitting in traffic, and they're a little bit annoyed and frustrated and tired, and they arrive to work, and then when they open your application, of the many things they're going to digest, immediately seeing an SAT score breeds that sense of familiarity. I love that, okay? So that's why you want to have a good SAT score to present. Alongside that, obviously, your marks at school are fundamental, and it could be the very underpinning that drives this application. So let's chat about that right now. Let's chat about your marks without sharing too much for your followers. But what subjects do you do and good at as well? What do you really achieve highly at?
Okay, so the subjects that I take right now, I currently take 8 subjects at the moment. So I take obviously the languages, which is Afrikaans and English. And then I take pure maths, physics, computer application technology, and also business studies. And then we have life orientation also by the other end. So basically for the funny thing is that between Afrikaans and English, I do better in Afrikaans. I don't know how that works. All of these subjects, my favorite subject has to be life sciences, like I mentioned before.
That your SAT is weighted on maths and English. Now, you're in matric right now. The first thing you're going to do is I want you to register to write the SAT, and I want you to have that first go at the SAT in June. What Crimson is going to do is I'm going to put you through a diagnostic to establish where you are in the SAT. Where are you falling short? Is it systems of linear equations? Is it geometry? Is it trigonometry? Is it comprehension within the English component? So we figure out where you are in the SAT, and then I'm going to give you an SAT tutor, all right? An SAT tutor to prepare you to write that SAT. Now, your SAT tutor will be based in the United States, and I want to stress this. I don't want you to put too much emphasis on the SAT, because other components, as you'll learn shortly, are as important, if not more important. But it's a very good indication to see use it as a blunt instrument to say, if I get a certain SAT score, a certain type of school might be more open to considering my application. So it goes without saying, the higher that SAT score, the more likely you are to be accepted. That is a reality. It's out of 1600, it's weighted 800 in English and it's weighted 800 in maths. Okay. And that, for anyone listening here on this, today, it doesn't matter if you're on the IEB, the NSC, the A levels, or the International Baccalaureate. No matter where you are based in Africa, the reality is that you need to keep your marks as high as possible. Keep your GPA as high as possible. Where you are particularly special, Orafilwe, as I understand it, lies within the extracurricular. And the extracurricular profile weighs 30% of this application. Okay, that's a huge amount. You'll see accumulatively between the extracurricular profile and the essay writing component, okay, your sort of personal statement, that weighs more accumulatively than the academic component. That is the nature of US applications. So now, obviously, you're a prolific vlogger. And to all of your fans out there, hello everyone, my name is Kyle Brown. I'm the Senior Academic Advisor here at Crimson, South Africa, and for the Africa region. You obviously have a very intense social media space. But if you apply to Yale, you will need 10 extracurriculars, all right? Or if you apply to any competitive school. But tell me a couple more things about yourself. What else do you do outside of the classroom?
Outside of the classroom, I think it was in December, my brother and I started, because he's also part of this modeling space. So I had to start for him like a drive for kids who are like in need, so that it started off for him taking videos to submit to his modeling agency, but then we sort of kind of made it our own thing, that like once a month we go to like an orphanage and we give them like bread and drinks, and that's what I've also like kind of drive into.
So it's important to stress that your extracurricular profile will be judged from grade 9 onwards. That's grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'd like to see your first 4 or 5 extracurriculars. What I'd like to see in your first 5 extracurriculars is your extracurriculars show who you are, okay, by what you do. What do you want your extracurriculars to say? Are you the drama applicant? Are you the tech applicant? Are you the, sort of social media guru? Whatever you want to say and you want an admissions officer to read into your extracurricular profile. That's what those first 5 extracurriculars should say. What I would also like to see is, what I see many gaps from students applying to top schools, is an internship of some nature. Do you have an internship?
At the moment, I am not part of any internship, but I would be interested in delving into one as like the time goes and all of that.
Cool. Well, look, from our point of view, Crimson's partnered with some awesome companies, Uber and PwC and Denton's. Amazon, we're partnered with Ferrari, as you can see over here. And what we offer is 4-week work experiences. Now, the point of a work experience is not just to fill a gap here. It kind of has many sort of features to it. But one is it's meant to complement what you're trying to say in that extracurricular profile. You're meant to do a deep dive. Let's say, for example, you going down the tech space. It makes sense then to look at our Amazon work experience. And there we have a deep dive into product management, machine learning, and AI and cloud computing. Look, it looks fantastic to have Amazon on the CV. But when you do this internship and this work experience, you might gather so much from the machine learning and AI space. And you might think, look, I absolutely loved it. Now I know when I'm targeting a degree, okay, when I'm targeting a degree, it needs to have a machine learning component or an AI component. If you do this work experience and you end up hating it, that is as valuable, because then you know to avoid degrees and career pathways that potentially incorporate these sorts of elements into them. But I would like to see your extracurricular profile have some level of an internship or a work experience, whether you do it with Crimson or whether you do it independently. Is it possible for you to get a work experience in any area?
Definitely. I think I would be able to get like a type of internship, because also my mom is part of the not technology, but the mining space. But she also might have connections of people who work in really big like tech companies.
Have you in the past done something like this where you've collaborated cross-border or within South Africa?
I have collaborated within South Africa, and it was a very amazing experience. Getting to know someone else and introducing your platform to another personality that they haven't seen before, but they are aware of because they are also dominant on social media. So I think it would be a very good thing to kind of like partner up with many other people in South Africa and potentially from like abroad and like overseas.
For those who potentially are kind of wondering to themselves, how do I internationalize? How do I become bigger than my school? To get into Yale, you need to be top of country, not just top of school. That's the sort of caliber of school we're looking at and how competitive it is. So how do you break from, your parochial and local environment for those who are struggling? There are ways to do it. One way that Crimson does it is, let's say, for example, we take the Crimson app, for example.
Okay.
We have Launchpad community, and we have students from across the world who are doing awesome extracurriculars, and they're looking for other students around the world to join their extracurricular efforts. Okay, so that's very cool. So we've got Launchpad community. Take a look at it here. So there's students from across the world. Let's have a look at this over here. Pukapol from Thailand. Your chance to become a global STEM club president. Hi, do you want to become a club president, show leadership and make a global impact? So this particular student from Thailand who's on the Crimson network there, they've got this cool extracurricular and initiative that they're doing. And it goes without saying that a South African can certainly reach out, or anywhere in Africa in that matter, and say, hey, I love what you're doing. I'd like to get involved. How can I implement it in my space? And likewise, let's say, for example, Orofilo Makoto is on a platform like this. It's very conceivable to say that, hey guys, I run a lifestyle vlog in so and such way, and I want to impact in so and such way in the technology space, for example. I want to use my following to impact maybe the underprivileged within the technology space. Maybe you think of an initiative or an extracurricular that can achieve this, and then you reach out to students from across our network in order to internationalize it. Other things that may not be necessarily relevant to you, but certainly are very powerful for many applications. So there's so many things, and that's why the extracurricular profile is so fundamental and so important.
So with the applications, would we need to go through some sort of app? For example, I know of the Common App, and with the Common App, do the essays count like a huge portion? Like, because I've seen most people not get into these schools because even though they had extraordinary marks, they didn't get into the schools because they had bad essays.
So in terms of the Common App itself, and when you're applying to the United States, most schools would require you to apply to the school through a common platform called the Common App, which is true. So what I feel about, absolutely, the essays are absolutely, they're fundamental, and they'll weigh 30% of this process. Now, there's the Common App essay, and then there are various supplementary essays that you would write, and some may be geared towards your career pathway, some not, etc. But the Common App essay is a very personal essay. It's not an essay about what you want to do, okay, what you want to achieve, or what you have achieved. It's more an essay and an insight into Orofilo Makoto, the human being. We know you in the social media space, okay? But who are you? Are you quirky? Are you funny? Are you actually a deep thinker? Are you somber? What do you want to say about who you are as a person, as a South African? How do you want to bring forward your identity? And a really nice way to understand the essay is like this. Whereas the extracurricular profile, you can see who you are by what you do. I want the Common App essay to be a snippet into your personality. Okay? And no doubt you've got tons of personalities. So what I want you to think about, and anyone watching this, is when you're putting forward the Common App essay, okay, I want you to think about a story that's unique to you. When a Yale admissions officer is reading this fantastic application of yours, well, academically, his GPA is there. Great SAT score as well. Let's turn the page. 10 fantastic extracurriculars. And reading those extracurriculars, I can see that he has used his vlog to impact communities from a STEM perspective or from a tech perspective. So I can see that he's a student that's deeply interested in tech, but he's also a bit dynamic. He's got a bit of a drama, angle as well. I see he's done a fantastic internship, all right? That also is within the tech space. So there's no doubt that this student is likely going to go down a tech route at Yale or at the school that you choose. But then the essay itself, that's all good and well. I have 100 students like that. Why is Orefilwe different? And then maybe you read a story. You spoke about in grade 8 how you weren't popular and, you were going through those sort of early teenagers, almost sort of teenager pains, if you will. Maybe that's a story you look to kind of work and build out.
Yes.
From Crimson's point of view, we provide an essay mentor to assist you to bring out the best of what that story is. Crimson's role is to make sure that the decisions you make are the most beneficial decisions when it comes to applying to a top school. That how you frame yourself is clear and that your narrative is polished. And of course, that you're not missing out on, silly mistakes along the way. And you'll be surprised at how many students have silly mistakes. Umbrellaing this whole conversation then is this. Why Yale? Is it actually the best fit for Orefilwe? Is it going to be the school that you should apply to? And realistically, can you actually get in? That's what we need to assess through a student's time at Crimson. You can always apply to Yale, but think to yourself, are there other schools that maybe have better proximity to industry within the tech space? Are there other schools that maybe have a better platform for launch into the United States? Are there other schools with better job opportunities at graduation? Okay? Yale might have all of these things, but this is the discussion that needs to unfold with a Crimson strategist. On the 1st of November this year, you're in matric, you are going to put forward an early action and early decision application. You can apply early to America. Okay? What school is that going to be? Is it going to be a school that is likely to give you funding? For those out there that are looking for funding in America, different schools are more likely to give you funding as opposed to other schools. Is it worth your while to target a school that's more likely to give funding if that's what you're looking for? Applying to the right place early is fundamental, because when you apply to the right place early, you know in every respect that you have a maximized chance at that school. Whereas if you apply to the wrong place early, and then the schools that follow it regular round may end up rejecting you because they're afraid you're going to reject them. It's an odd sort of American conundrum. So Crimson will assist you in that selection process. Where is what we call a best fit school?
With the funding, basically, do all of them give us funding, or just like you said, there's some universities that give you funding and all of that? And also, if they do give you funding, do they basically look at your background first to kind of see like, okay, he's from Africa and this is their background? Like in South Africa, basically, there's like the NSFAS. Is there something similar to funding? Is there different types of funding based on your background to that side?
When it comes to funding in the United States, one can obviously look to get merit scholarships and scholarships from the school, and then look to access funding through the CSS profile and through the United States government. It's probably best to frame it like this. What you can afford to pay is what you will end up paying, most likely. Now, there you get need-blind schools. schools that will not look to your financial background when you apply. And then you'll get need-aware schools that will ask you, are you looking for aid if you apply here? It's important to stress that studying in the United States is expensive, okay? And, a good bracket to understand it is potentially anywhere between, say, 300,000 Rand right up to over R1 million per year. The more money one has to put forward to the process, the more doors are likely to open for you. Look, Orefilwe, there's no doubt about it, you have a different and a special profile. And I have no doubt that through this process, through the next year, you'll look to take some of this advice and look to structure an application in the best possible way. I'm going to encourage everyone who's watching this to make use of Crimson's free resources. Every single week we have a webinar on different sort of regions, different sort of processes within application processes to the United States, to Europe, to the UK, Australia, New Zealand. And you should feel absolutely, if you'd like to attend every one of those sessions, you absolutely should. Of course, we have paid for services as well, and those services can be extensive. Let me just quickly have a share here. So Crimson has, offers many things. Work with a strategist in university and degree selection guidance and candidacy positioning, tutors for the SAT, or, a variety of curricula globally. Extracurricular mentors to help you with your capstone project. Not everyone on the call has extraordinary extracurriculars like Orefilwe, for example, and maybe you're looking to grow. Of course, a support team that helps coordinate your program. And that support team is based in South Africa, making sure that you're on track and that you're getting from this process what you hoped you would get from it. An essay mentor to help you with your essays, the Common App essay and the supplementary essays to the many schools that you're going to apply to. And of course, former admissions officers. Crimson has a network of fantastic former admissions officers, people who used to work at Harvard and Stanford and Yale and schools like that, to add value into your profile and into your application. And is it where it should be, and where can it be improved, for example? So that's where Crimson certainly can step. But if you know, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you. Any sort of wise words, any final words as well for students looking to develop their profile from your point of view?
From my point of view, for any student that would love to develop their own profile, and you're just like, where do I even start? That is the question I always ask myself. But don't worry, there's amazing apps and amazing companies like Crimson Education, which can help you tremendously. Just don't worry, do your research, and just, for example, Crimson Education is one of the best that I know of. Even yesterday when I told my friends that I've got a meeting with Crimson Education, they were like, what? You know what I mean? So you can use Crimson Education to kind of help you with your process and just have amazing extracurriculars and just be extraordinarily intelligent. And yeah, those are my wise words that I would have for people who would like to go to school overseas.
Thanks, Orefilwe. I appreciate that. And just to note to any student watching this right now who has any intention of applying to the United States, take some of the advice I've shared today and think to yourself, how can I make myself more competitive? How can I make myself bigger and better while still being organic to your story and your narrative? It's an absolute pleasure meeting you, Orefilwe. No doubt we're going to have another session sometime soon, I'm sure. But of course, to anyone watching, reach out to Crimson Education. You don't have to do this process alone. Look after yourself.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to go follow me and Crimson Education on our respective social media platforms that I'm going to be putting down in the comment section below and in the description box below. Catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.